Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy Tuesday morning. We've got some Seahawks stuff to go through, and it's not the most interesting stuff in the world. It's certainly no Julio Jones trade or Fletcher Cox acquisition, but we got some stuff going on, and today may very well be the first opportunity we've had in a while to really say something of substance about how this team looks headed into the 2021 season. So, before I get into that, real quick, one roster move did happen yesterday. We released tight end Nick Guggemos, and a few people were definitely intrigued by Nick Guggemos when we signed him because he was an athletic freak. That's the only reason why we picked him up, because we certainly didn't pick him up because of production in the college football, because he played at a very small college and he didn't produce hardly anything. He barely played. I know he got hurt, but even before he got hurt, he didn't play that much. But he had a combination of size and speed and athleticism. So we thought maybe, hey, he could be the next Antonio Gates. He could be the next great physical athlete with little NFL experience who becomes a good NFL tight end. But party ended before it even started. Guggemos is off the roster. I didn't think he had any real chance of making the 53-man this year. I did think he was going to maybe make the practice squad, especially because the practice squad might get expanded. So, doesn't look like that's going to happen at this point. I don't know why you would release him and bring him back. Now, the interesting thing here, really, because, Nick Guggemos was always a long shot. The interesting thing here is that we didn't need to release anybody unless we were going to pick somebody else up. The roster cutdowns do not happen until the preseason, so letting Nick Guggemos go signals that we're probably going to try to go get some other player to fill that role. Maybe we have our eyes on a veteran tight end, and we just decided, okay, let's cut loose on the Guggemos experiment to go get, I think Jesse James is still a free agent. Luke Wilson is still out there, I guess. So maybe this is like some sort of bellwether that we're about to bring in somebody like a Richard Sherman or a KJ Wright. Maybe we're anticipating some roster cuts soon, and we're trying to prep our roster to pick somebody up. I don't know, but nevertheless, what I do know is that Nick Guggemos is off the team, and his roster spot has yet to be filled as of this recording. All right, so the really interesting thing that's going to happen today, because this has not happened yet so far this offseason. What we are going to have is an OTA that the media is actually allowed to attend. We haven't had one of those yet. Every OTA the Seahawks have had so far, organized team activity, has been inside and closed off to the media. They meant to have a open OTA, I think, a couple weeks ago, but it rained, so they decided to move it inside. So as long as it doesn't rain today, we will be having OTAs viewed by the media, which means we should get some video coverage of what's going on. We should get an idea of what the players look like, what they're currently working on. And what we're going to see at the OTAs are going to be very meaningful because most of our players have now shown up. So I mentioned some weeks ago that very few players were showing up to the initial OTAs. Basically, the only veterans who showed up were Ahkello Witherspoon, and there might have been one or two other guys. Everybody else was a rookie or a fringe roster player who had to fight for their life in the NFL. We didn't see any of the big name veterans. We didn't see a lot of the even mid-tier veterans, but players have trickled in, like Carroll kind of alluded to back when this whole thing started. And I don't know how many people were concerned about the players not showing up to the OTAs, but to the people who maybe were, to the people who were maybe bothered by it, I don't think there's too much to be bothered by at this point. Russell Wilson showed up yesterday, actually, excuse me. He showed up yesterday. So did Bobby Wagner, DK Metcalf, Ethan Posick, Will Dissly, Trey Flowers, DJ Reed, Poona Ford. And there must have been a lot more, too. I mean, 76 is almost everybody on the roster. So very few players are still holding out on the OTAs. If I had to guess, like you might have seen somebody like Dwayne Brown not show up because he doesn't need to. It's not like he would do anything anyway because of his age. Maybe the kicker and punter didn't show up. Maybe I don't know, Carson. I don't know if he showed up or not. So it seems like everybody's ready to go. Everyone's on the same page. Nobody's trying to break any balls to get extra days off and extra time at home over the off season. Seems like people decided, okay, it's time to show up. We got to at least appear for a few of these OTAs. Mandatory mini camps are next week, so we can certainly hope that everybody shows up to those because they are by definition mandatory. And if anybody holds out from those, that might be a discussion worth having then. But for now, suffice to say, most of the team is completely locked in on giving us the best possible product in 2021. So that's going to be fun. Finally, we're going to get some real information from these OTAs. We're not going to have to just filter through a bunch of secondhand stuff. We're not going to have to filter through a bunch of cryptic comments from Carol. We're going to hopefully learn something, today. It hasn't started yet, but yeah, today will be the first OTAs that are open to the media. I think the Thursday ones are going to be open as well to the media. So hopefully we see something good. I know that Gerald Everett is there, and I know that Colby Parkinson's there. He kind of needs to be there. I think all of our tight ends are there, actually, and that's really good because the players on the defense, especially somebody like a Bobby Wagner or a Jamal Adams or Poona Ford, them being there is nice, but it's not that big of a deal. The defense is not changing. We brought in some new players, but the defense as a whole is not really changing that much. Now, if I'm Bobby Wagner, I want to come in and maybe, learn about synergy with somebody like Kerry Hyder. I want to learn how to play with him. But for the most part, guys like Bobby Wagner showing up, guys like I said, Jamal Adams, it's not that big a deal if they're there or not. But on offense, the more people we can get in that building for these OTAs, the better, because that's the side of the ball that needs to learn new stuff. And I'm really excited that all the tight ends are there. Disley, Everett, Parkinson. It looks like we have all hands on deck, at least on that front. Metcalf there as well. At least a couple of the offensive linemen are there. So I was a little bit perturbed when I heard how many players were missing the initial OTA sessions because we have a new offense to learn, and these guys need to spend as much time as possible on the field together. But yeah, looks like we have enough players on hand to start learning this offense. And this is the most important thing happening for the Seahawks this season, not just for 2021, but for the future as well. If this new offense works and produces good results, this team can win Super Bowls for the next few years. If it doesn't, then Wilson's probably not going to be here much longer. Carroll might not be here much longer. We're going to blow it up. I really do believe that. At that point, you kind of have to blow it up. You're going to say goodbye to a lot of really good players on this team. And yeah, everything just rides on this offense being good in the next couple years. So hopefully they're able to pick it up in time. And I'm happy to hear that they flew in yesterday. And it seems like they're taking this as seriously as they need to. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks. Hopefully we learn good stuff today from the media on the OTAs. See you guys later today with whatever it is we end up picking up. All right, go Hawks.